Another day, another journalist that is trying to push the GamerGate anti gamer agenda. We have The Guardian, most notably Keza MacDonald, who wrote this cringe article pushing this anti gamer GamerGate narrative out there in regards to Assassin's Creed Shadow, which has been subject to a lot of criticism for a lot of valid reasons, whether these people that are woke want to admit it or not. Now, this story actually was first brought to my attention from Smash JT, so I'll go ahead and give him a shout out to his article if you guys want to check it out. He breaks down everything going on with this. Pretty good, pretty high detailed. So, Keza MacDonald is a former Kotaku journalist, or as like we like to say, political activists. These people cosplay as video game journalists. They don't care about video games. They don't care about gamers. They hate you. They hate me. They're more interested in pushing their narratives, their agendas, what they believe, what makes them feel like they're contributing to society politically. This article, written by The Guardian, quickly shows how biased they are against gamers. They mention every single thing that you would think of from these insufferable people and try to make these articles more about themselves and other issues instead of writing a real good article about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is a game coming up. Do these people not realize that writing articles like this doesn't do Assassin's Creed Shadows any favors? If anything, it pushes people away from it, because all we're constantly seeing in regards to this game are people pushing political narratives, political agendas, ignoring historical accuracies, ignoring the fact that they're shoehorning in a black character as a samurai instead of giving a good Assassin's Creed game with a good Japanese protagonist. They don't see that there's anything wrong with Assassin's Creed Shadows having hip-hop music play when Yasuke fights people. I mean, think about it. This is the wokies' wet dream. We have a person of color killing Asian people to hip-hop music. Imagine if it was a white character killing Asians or black people in a video game. They would throw a shit fit, but the fact why they're behind it is because it's a person of color. And I don't care how racist you think that might be, but let's go ahead and look at this article. It's called "The Disturbing Online Misogyny of Gamergate Has Returned If It Ever Went Away." And there's some interesting quotes in this article. Right at the bat, you can see they don't even pull any punches. They go full mask off. They said, "A few months ago, I wrote about a consulting agency, Sweet Baby Inc., that found itself at the center of a conspiracy theory. Aggrieved gamers on a Steam forum had erroneously concluded that this small agency was somehow mandating the inclusion of more diverse characters in games. Depressingly but unsurprisingly, the result was a tremendous amount of targeted harassment towards the people who work at Sweet Baby and every journalist who reported on it, particularly the woman. It was a disturbing echo of Gamergate, an online harassment campaign 10 years ago that initially sprung from the wild accusations of a game developer's vindictive ex-boyfriend." It's funny how not only do they get history wrong in Assassin's Creed Shadows, but they're getting history wrong with what happened. Sweet Baby Inc. detected was a curation of games that had influence from Sweet Baby Inc. on Steam. It was a list that was like, hey, these are games that are influenced by this consulting firm that pushes woke narratives. They're leaving out the fact that Chris Kindred, an employee of Sweet Baby Inc., tried to get this group banned, tried to get it eliminated, tried to censor free speech, and went through all sorts of weird, scummy avenues to censor people that are being critical about Sweet Baby Inc.'s agenda. They leave that out. They don't talk about how that side of the equation pushes things like doxing, invasion of privacy, intimidation, targeted harassment. No, they go ahead and just pull this whole, oh, we're all victims because these guys are bigots, and they made a list about games that Sweet Baby Inc. is involved with. Notice how they always hold zero accountability, that they never want to admit when they do the stuff first, when they attack people. It's just wild to see. And when you look at articles like this, you know, wokies, political activists that are game journalists, they do one of two things. They either write a hit piece on a video game or if they are writing something about a video game, they make it about themselves, like Alyssa Mercante did yesterday with the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC review that she did yesterday. So this individual made this whole entire article about GamerGate and what it was about from their, I guess, personal bias. You could see they go on and try to say exactly why it's a conspiracy theory. That, the language has changed a bit in the past decade. They used to be upset about SJWs or social justice warriors. We still are. Now they've taken issue with a different acronym, DEI, or just good old woke. But the sentiment from this group is the same. Games are for us and for us only. And if you want games to change or to tell stories outside the straightforward, male-oriented power fantasies that we grew up with, then, well, that's not allowed. We won't stand for it. In fact, we will try to aggressively harass you out of this space entirely. And that's a little bit of a embellishment, a little bit of a hyperbole there. No, the guys that are pro-Gamergate, the guys that want woke inserted, injected, shoehorned into gaming, they're the ones that want games to be their way. They don't want anybody else to have any kind of difference of opinion, no other individual thoughts. They want their games for them and for them only. And you have to like it. You have to have forced woke narratives. You have to have forced LGBTQ. You have to have forced token characters. You have to have forced woke agendas in your video games, because they are the ones that want things to be politically correct. They're the ones that want to be offended if it's majority of white male people playing a video game, because we can't have that. They want diversity, but they want diversity for them, not everybody else. That's where the hypocrisy comes with these people. And you can see reading articles like this are just, who would even in their right mind think that this is a way to think, where you're calling out everything from the square jaws and masculine bodies, which it's true, they're uglifying characters, to the whole situation with Stellar Blade, that they are just like bombing Stellar Blade because of the character Eve being way too hot. I mean, this is literally like a self-admission of everything. They're basically admitting to everything that is wrong with it, and they're trying to play it up like, oh yeah, these guys are just hallucinating and overreacting over things like this, like a character in a video game, Hades 2, being too hot, and that Black Samurai contradicts historical evidence. They're just pointing out everything that we already know, guys. They hide in plain sight with this. Now, they even go on to mention how the executive producer for Assassin's Creed got incredibly felted by Elon Musk. Elon Musk made a tweet in an interview, and this Assassin's Creed Shadows producer, Mark Alexis Cote, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, said that Elon is just feeding hatred. That he had a lot of 3-word replies in mind. These guys can't take it. You see, one thing I've noticed with a lot of these people, like Nick Calandra, Alyssa Mercante, Jessica Cogswell, you name it, they like to insult people. They like to try to insult intelligence, appearance, looks. They like to make stuff up, like, oh, that person's wife is cheating on them. And then they like to invade personal boundaries. They like to contact family members. They like to dox. When they get any kind of clap back, even if you're Elon Musk and you're clapping back against them, you're feeling hatred. You're just a bigot. And it's a big, huge problem. Now, this goes on to talk about after Summer Games Fest, it literally says the anti-woke gamers found a new target. A report at IGN, which credibly and comprehensively lays out a history of sexism at the developer of upcoming Planet of the Apes meets Sekiro action game, Black Myth Wukong. The response, surprise, was to go after the woman who wrote it, while also spinning up a ludicrous conspiracy theory that IGN was blackmailing the developer, which it's not out of the realm. It's still a rumor at this point, not 110% confirmed, but you've seen the way that these people operate. You run a firm like Sweet Baby Inc., you tell a development studio you have to make your game politically correct, or we're going to write bad marketing things about you. I mean, you saw that clip where that one lady was at GDC saying, go to their marketing team and scare them, threaten them until you get what you want. That literally goes in line with what we're saying with the extortion scam that's going on. So back, if you want to read this article, I'm not going to go too much more in detail, but my God, if there was ever an article that proved every single thing that is wrong about the whole narrative with Gamergate being anti-gamer. This is the proof in the pudding right here. This person goes on and talks about how they experienced their first original Gamergate and just, just crybaby shit. Like, it's tempting to dunk on these people endlessly, but outrage fuels outrage, especially now when there's literally money to be made posting inflammatory nonsense on X or YouTube. Yet, the people that are on X the most writing inflammatory, hateful stuff are the people that claim to be the intolerant, right? It's ridiculous. And you can see, that Keza MacDonald knows they're in the wrong when, if you look at their tweet, they have the accounts at Keza MacDonald follows or mentioned can only reply. So they've locked down replies on this tweet. That is sign number one that they know that they fucked up. You lock down replies. The next step is to go protected tweets to where people can't see it. And then after that, you're going to block people. But here's their tweet. And you can see they said the anti-woke campaign that kicked off a few months ago is still rolling on, and it's not going to stop, just an FYI. The language may have changed a little since Gamergate, but the intention behind it has not. Forgive my simmering rage. Almost shimmering. I wouldn't doubt it. But I've seen this way too many times below, and there's a few people in here that are praising it. The real action, though, is in the quote replies, which we're going to take a quick look at here because they're getting absolutely roasted. First of all, look at this. This savvy artist, I'm going to tell you guys, they broke this down immensely. Savvy artist is a MVP on Twitter, and I wanted to talk about this because they hit the nail on the head on everything with this. So, the comments instantly disabled. That's proof in the pudding. Simmering rage is a state someone exists in because they are juvenile and lack a mature brain. 110%. Juvenile behavior by MacDonald. Games are for us and only for us. Thank you for telling on yourself. When people like you say Lara Croft is a problem and then change her despite the global love of her, you are then saying her story is now only for you and your type. When you complain about needing representation and then suddenly American Canadian studios have unflattering women and change models from their motion capture, you are saying that the rest of the world, which likes appealing things to look at, is wrong. 110%. It's like the games have to be made just for them. Nobody else can like it because you're a bigot if you like anything different. And it's weird. It's like they want, like, look for the Pokemon Go update that happened where now the characters are just bland, androgynous, gender neutral. It's like they don't want people to be masculine or feminine anymore, and they're trying to push that into characters in the games because they find that it's more realistic and more representative and relatable. If you got to be relatable to a character in a video game that you're playing, you are a narcissist or you're super fucking autistic. Because I've never played a game and been like, oh, in Stellar Blade, I have to be relatable to Eve. I know she's a big-boobed, nice-assed female protagonist. I'm not playing it so it could be a short little hairy Ewok like myself. But these people, oh, it has to have representation. It has to fill out a checkbox. Get the fuck out of here. Now, going on with this banger of a reply, you can see Savvy Artist says, it is your type who aggressively harass people out of jobs, the online space, and out of games when your type use this language. You don't care about diversity. You care about control. If you cared about diversity, you would have encouraged new studios to pop up, not change what exists. When people like you told me being a woman in the industry is hard and we can get you in because you're a woman, you pushed me out and others like me. So, a little bit of backstory lore that I would like to know about there. But 110% right. We got people coming in, changing things like Tomb Raider, changing things like Assassin's Creed, changing things like, games that have had hundreds and hundreds of hours and hard work put into for years. And now Lara Croft can't even be a Tomb Raider anymore. She's a truth seeker against colonizers. Like, gag me with a fucking spoon. Make new IPs. I wouldn't have no fucking problem. There's a brand new IP that has whatever woke message you want. It's when you mess with the source material that it honestly ticks me off quite a bit. Now, continue on, we can see Plenty of historical basis for Yusuke, and she goes on to say, can you guys please get on the same page on this? Also, I appreciate you quoting another person who also exists in emotional instability, who admits they can't express themselves through words, but can only resort to 3-word replies. Are all these people in high school still? They also cropped out the self-aware part of the quote that said, attacking people like Elon won't convince them of our stance, or whatever it was. And again, they always have to be seething, coping in seething. Here's another thing right here, which credibly and comprehensively lays out a history of sexism. And this in regards to that article about Black Myth Wukong. No, it didn't. It used females familiar with the gaming industry and provided mistranslations as an excuse. And yeah, they never went out and apologized for the mistranslated text at all. Zero accountability. Rebecca Valentine went under protected tweets, has blocked people left and right, made a statement of lies, which we talked about that, where she essentially doubled down on what she was saying, held no accountability for herself as a gaming journalist. It was an incoherent rambling from the words of some delusional individual who I don't even think plays games. And they all don't play games, guys. No one is going to take anything from you. You're no one, and your own credibility is down the toilet. And that's what the majority of gaming journalists, their credibility day by day is just going down the drain at this point. You name them all. Jeff Grubb, Jason Schreier, Alyssa Mercante, Jessica Cogswell, you name it. And all their ilk, as they like to say. Now, here comes the banger ending to this long-winded tweet, which I think was fantastic and explains everything about this. This talks about how they worked. This is a screenshot of them saying that they worked with a branch of Kotaku while the original GamerGate kicked off, right? So she says, this line explains everything. Anyway, studios who work with SBI and excessively promote DEI, who don't talk about the games but instead focus on identity, are all hemorrhaging money. You attempt to make yourself look like some moral high horse rider, but what you're complaining about isn't the problem. Checkbox requirements, censorship, the requirement everyone speak the same, use the same language, and believe the same thing, that isn't diversity or inclusion. That is dystopian and pathetic. And that is why I don't like shoehorned wokeness. It's an echo chamber. It's 110% an echo chamber. You can't hide behind all this. The free market is deciding they don't like this. How many studios have shut down who worked with SBI? How many basic things have been messed up by consultants who claim to be diversity experts? You have no power anymore, not in the age of information. Anyone can go viral now. Game studios don't need to rely on these pathetic outlets to get eyes on their stories, and they don't. And that's why these people are raging. That's why they're seething about YouTubers. That's why they all try to attack people that make YouTube videos or influencers, because gaming journalists cannot win when it comes to somebody that has free thought, somebody that's not bought under a corporation like The Guardian, like Kotaku, like IGN, and they hate it. They hate that we go against the grain, that we go against their narrative that they're trying to promote. And that's why they go under protected tweets. That's why they put their @mentions closed, that only people they talk about can reply. And you can see they're getting torn up. Here's Caesar Silverberg, who says, reminder that the point of the article is anti-woke. That dude is pretending that Z's speaking for the majority. It's nothing but gaslighting. There's no woke and anti-woke. There's the woke, as in mentally ill leftist, and then there's normal people. Abso-fucking-lutely. The lefties are sick in the fucking head. They want to control people. They're the ones that want a dystopian train of thought, an echo chamber of sorts, and it's their way or no way at all. Continuing on, we got some more stuff. Disabling comments is when they know the majority's not having it. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's step one. They think that they're making a huge positive change in the gaming industry when they're not, or else they wouldn't be blocking, they wouldn't be hiding, they wouldn't be coping, and they wouldn't be seething. And locking down your comments is sign number one that you're in a losing battle. You can act like you're oppressed and the resistance and fighting all you want, but all you really are is just a fucking retard who people aren't agreeing with. And that was the banger thing right there. We got people like Keza MacDonald have no business in the games industry. It's up to us to gatekeep cretins like her out. 110%. And I hate gatekeeping, but when you have people that are pushing anti-gamer narratives, That doesn't belong. I've heard and read her stuff for years. Nothing but Marxist stop. Exactly. 110% Marxism right here. If anyone wants to know what an echo chamber looks like, here's a screenshot for you. And they're showing the who can reply accounts only at Keza MacDonald follows or mentioned can reply. And then here's the two that did reply. Great and important as always. And then a fist and a heart. Chicken shit on their behalves. The toxic journalists descended on the gaming industry as they have many other. They introduced doxing, threats, calling family, calling people's bosses over things that were said on Twitter or in a game to ruin people's lives. Now everyone knows the toxicity in gaming is them. 110%. There's no more fooling around with it. There's no more hiding behind it. There's no more denying it. We've seen their actions since the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected versus Sweet Baby Inc. fiasco happened with the Steam curator list that kicked all this off. They wanted to silence criticism. They wanted to get that group banned. Chris Kindred was at the root of it. Chris Kindred tried to get it taken down. Alyssa Mercante wrote that hit piece that Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do exactly what you think it does, when it does do exactly what we think it does. It does exactly what we think it does. It pushes an echo chamber of woke agendas, political narratives that are driven by these activists, and then they all bully together. They have their discords, their group chats. If somebody goes against the grain, if you're a video game developer making a game that they don't like, that isn't woke, they will write hit pieces on you. If you're a YouTuber making videos criticizing these people, they will try to censor you. They'll try to demonetize you. They'll try to ban you. They'll try to get your websites taken down. They'll contact your wives. Trust me. There is a group of these people that cannot handle it. And that's why this is being compared to GamerGate. And the reason why it never went away, why GamerGate never went away, is because people like MacDonald, people like Mercante, y'all never let it get away because you guys have to sit and cry on the internet daily about how gaming isn't the way that you want it. You guys are the bigots. You guys are the racists. You guys don't contribute at all to the gaming industry, and you guys need to be dealt with. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care.